Are you ready for this? I'm about to speedrun this intro. Good luck to future me for the subtitles, because this is going to be rough. Hey, what's good, y'all? It's Stinger, and today I'm going to be showing each and every one of you how to make a horror loop that sounds a little something like this. Alright, so for this piano, the first thing I started with is the bass line, and this bass line is going from the 1 to the 6 to the 5. I like to use this bass line when it comes to dark and evil beats like this because the transition from the 6 to the 5 really sounds good. Alright, after I had that bass line laid out, I threw on some chords an octave higher. All of the chords in use here are octave chords, which are chords in which the root note is put up by 1 octave. I don't like using 7th chords or basic triads because it makes the chords sound a little bit too bright and happy, so I just used octaves to give it that dark, eerie feel. On top of those chords, I have a top line melody playing just to give it a little bit more of a melodic aspect. So with that being said, this is what those chords sound like. After that, I wanted the chords to sound a little bit more full, so I took the 5th of every chord and put it down by 1 octave. That way the chord is more spread out. And then I also threw on this little top line motif to transition from the last part of the melody to the first. If you've watched my videos before, you know I say this a bunch, but it remains true. The best way to create resolution within your melodies is to create a transition from the end of the melody to the beginning. So let me show you how that sounds. Alright, now that we have that first part of the melody done, let's move into the next, being these strings from BBC Symphonic Orchestra. I just have these playing a nice little top line melody, and this is what it sounds like. And as you can see with this top line melody, yet again, we have those tension notes at play to create a little bit more suspense and tension. And also for the top line melody, I have it transitioning from the end to the beginning to create even more resolution. Next, I threw down this organ from Collab 3. It is a beautiful sounding organ. I have it playing this really low melody to give it some kind of low end ambience. All I did for that was I took the root note of the melody and pitched it up by 7 semitones. And that creates the 5th of the chord. I didn't want it to be too complex, so I just left it at that. After that, we have this super cool horror ambience from Omnisphere, and this is what it sounds like. As you'll see later on with the melody, ambiances are really what seal the deal with horror melodies like this, because there's only so much you could do with music to provoke a certain type of feeling. But when you add in some scary horror ambiances, it makes a huge difference. After that, I threw in this church-like bell. And I have that just playing the root notes. And next is my absolute favorite part of the melody, these vocals. The vocals I'm using are from Arcade using the Ghostly Choir preset. Anything from this Nightmare patch in Arcade is perfect for horror loops like this. Later on, I'll be using ambiances and textures from this pack, but there's also vocals and melodic aspects which sound awesome. So I have 2 sections of the vocals to create some sort of variation. So this is what the first section sounds like. And this is what the second section sounds like. For me, if I feel like anything is missing on a beat, I'll throw in some vocals from Arcade, and that just wraps everything together. And the last melodic aspect to this melody is the sub bass from Serum. So now that we've got all the melodic components out of the way, let's move into the sound effects and ambiances. First ambience that I have laid down is yet again from that Nightmare patch, and it's using the Monster Town preset. And this is what it sounds like. Even just listening to that right now without any context to the beat felt kind of suspenseful. So adding in these kind of things to your horror loops is a great idea. The next ambience that I have is yet again from the Nightmare patch using the Other Voices preset, and it has this like guttural monster ambient sound. You'll see what I mean. To be honest, it kind of sounds like Muscle Man from Regular Show, but it's still pretty cool. On that, I have Pancake, which is panning it left and right gradually, kind of to create a sense of space in the melody and make it seem like there's monsters coming from everywhere. Next ambience that I have is this super gross sound from a cinematic horror pack that I downloaded, and this is what it sounds like. As the title for that sound entails, it sounds like some like demons crackling flesh or something like that. I kind of just hit a nasty wave, but that's beside the point. And the next effects is the cinematic drum loop from the free Epic cinematic drum sample pack. It has a bunch of drum loops that I've been using a bunch when it comes to like cinematic beats such as Regalia or COD beats or horror loops such as this one. So this is what the drum loop sounds like. And the last section of effects are these various risers and impacts. To get any of these kind of sounds, you just need to look up like free cinematic effects or free cinematic impacts or something of that nature, and you'll find some pretty good sounds. So just to show you the difference that all of those effects and ambiances make, I'm going to play the melody with and without them. So this is it without. Now, in my opinion, that doesn't really sound bad by any measure, but it definitely could be improved upon. So with that being said, this is what it sounds like with the effects. So that's going to pretty much cover how to make some dark and suspenseful cinematic horror loops. Hopefully you enjoyed the tutorial and learned something new. If you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the comments down below and I will do my best to answer them. Also, feel free to subscribe as I post 2 long videos and 2 short videos every single week. Other than that, that's going to be it. Peace.